Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. I'm just now fixing the settings for the video stream. Bear with me. And amazingly, they're actually right. So let's go ahead and there were two things I had to change earlier, and they worked. So now let's go to test out the audio because it was using definitely the wrong microphone. And we've got a bunch of folks in chat, so we're going to address everybody here as well. Let's go ahead and unmute this. How does it sound to everybody out there listening? I'm hearing an echo, or not echo, but a popping. It was doing that during the Tesla Live show, and I think it was just my headphones. So let me know. And let me come back, mouse over to the right. Highlander's asking for live. Yes, we are now finally live. And Futurala, Brian says, give us a thumbs up, y'all. Appreciate it. Highlander gave us a thumbs up. Says hi, Brian. Everybody says hello, hello. Highlander says, my boss is late as usual. You're going to replace him with Moto. Who do you think makes us late? No, she was all right today. It was all me. I stayed up late printing. This is an adapter for my portable air conditioner. I'm hoping that if I pre-cool this room, maybe the house air conditioner won't try to overstep it. We'll see. Free ice cream for all junior co-hosts. Yeah, they did get some ice cream yesterday. We'll probably finish it before the week is out. Lee Moon in the house. Howdy. And sound is good. Excellent. Thank you. No echo and no popping. I'm glad to hear it. I'll have to, I guess, replace this cable because the headphones themselves are great. So I'll add that to the list of things I wasn't anticipating buying. They are consumables, but usually I don't expect to have to get new headphone cables in under a year. Or maybe it's just over a year, but either way, I rarely have to get new ones. Like, for instance, the cable I'm using for, is that mine or is that theirs? The cable I'm using for the girls' microphone is 2007. Yeah, so 20 years old, no problem. But that's an XLR cable. It's not a mini Sony. And Lee, happy morning, happy Sunday. Good to see you. And also, good sound on your end. Perfect. All right, so let's see what's in the notebook, and we'll go from there. Sorry, still on the wrong camera on the wrong screen because the gas struts have not yet arrived. That's how I have to wear a green shirt in front because the green screen is down. But the gas struts are. It's interesting. I thought I was talking to the people I ordered them from, but it was somebody else who realized that they had an inquiry about it, and they were. They're like, hey, those are really odd sizes you've asked for. I'm like, yeah, they are. And go ahead and do it. And then they asked for money. I'm like, what do you mean you asked for money? And I was like, oh, you're not the same group. And so I sent an inquiry to the other one asking, hey, what's up? Did you custom order them and put them on the slow boat from China, or what's going on? And all of that to say that I'm holding out hope that I don't need to rearrange my screen layout and only to have to change it back again later. But for a couple of reasons, really. One, because I've got this screen sitting on top of the laptop screen, the screen in here. I don't know how it would communicate that to the screen layout engine, whatever they call it on the Mac, display manager on Windows. And I guess I could make it easier to get the mouse between them though, because to get to the screen here, I have to go left. To get to the screen down here in the glasses, I need to go right from the top screen. And to get to the Mac, I gotta come left again, and go down. They're not matched in their logical layout. But all of that to say, let's pull up our notebook and see what survived in there today. And I was seeing as I was starting the show, I saw a little clip from Sawyer. I might just start there. Let's do that. Let's go to x.com and BYD announced that they will offer full damage coverage for owners using their God's Eye Level 2 Plus urban NOA system in China. So this is what we've been saying for the longest time needs to happen for... One of the services is blocking my ability to answer the messages. I'm going to assume it's Facebook because it's almost always Facebook. But the only way to find out is for me to re-log into everything, and we won't know until my next show. So let's go to share screen. And we want to share the X screen, I guess. We do want to share the X screen, but maybe not my home feed. I don't know what's next. So let's open this up in a new tab. We'll share that tab. Self-driving cars are fun because you never see the competing software as a service products having a literal standoff in the street. Okay, that'll be a fun one. Is this for real? It says problems in Paris. And of course, stuff is on fire. That's Paris. Don't know. The video quality is a little high, and the person sharing it is Mr. Musk, so he loves to share some AI weirdness. The Macintosh browser will let you record your screen. Yeah, that's why I hit share screen. Open system settings, and we'll allow it, but please don't reboot the browser. Where are you at? I don't even see what it's asking me. So, let's see. Hi. Got another Tesla off a cliff. And interesting. We've got a Tesla FSD China claims that you've never seen anything like this. It reversed for a full 7 minutes, right on the edge of a cliff. Different one than the one that drove off the cliff. I can believe it. When we first started FSD and Smart Summon, my car did not care if it was going frontwards or backwards. It had a slight preference to go forwards, but if it was headed to the target, it was fine. It didn't care which direction it took to get there. All right, I'm not going to watch 7 minutes of this car backing up. I've been looking for... I might type it into search. I just tested Elon's claim that 1433 nags less too. First hand on the highway. 1433 nag times are tied to your speed profile. Just tested it on a 20-minute drive. And now my screen is frozen. What has happened here? Are you guys still good? Okay, good. Scared me. There it goes again. We're not hurting. New dashcam clip encryption feature in 2026.20 software update for select countries. Dashcam clips are now stored encrypted on your USB flash drive for privacy reasons. Only your vehicle can view them. To decrypt the videos, tap the icon. All right, so the question with that, though, I like to view my clips on the PC. But part of that is because my car doesn't have the remote Sentry view, so I can't just use the app and hit save. I wonder what that's going to mean for us old folks if we get encryption at all. Wow, it is sluggish. How does it look for you guys on the feed? I guess I gotta pick a share. Will that make it stop freaking out? It's gone white. I've never seen it go white before. But it seems responsive again. Having trouble accessing the X platform. I don't know why they keep messing with your account like that. All right, there we go. Some lag. I'm lagging. All right, so what I might need to do, I might need to reset this browser, but I got a whole bunch of junk that's going to start up that I don't want to start up when we come back. Let's see. There's going to be a setting to turn encryption off. I'm not sure. That would be good. A little slow down here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is reset my browser as soon as I figure out. Oh, there's this system settings. Maybe it's that. It shouldn't be. So after all that, the setting they want is already on. Goofball computer. So let's do. Hi, baby. She's got oatmeal. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Oh, it synced fine? Okay. So then we'll not bother it and maybe just close some tabs. Not that I have many open. I mean, I do have a lot open, but I don't have many for this machine. You want to sit with me? Hello, baby. Okay. Where was I? I was making the thing screamless. What, baby? What? You went down already? All right. She wasn't feeling it. So what I was doing was looking for easy wins on closing these browser tabs. Let's see. Something I was not in the middle of. So I got a bunch of projects I'm running. Okay, that's a good one. We will do that one. We'll do that demand, and then we'll do copy it as a CSV. Then we'll just close it. Not save and close, just close. Yeah, I'm sure. There's only 20 tabs, it won't do anything. Where is the mouse now? Still up top, okay. Where is raindrop? Sorry, guys. It was fine when I did the preset up, and then it decided it was not gonna play ball. All right, so unsorted, add, submit. Then where is the activity monitor? Yeah, we're using like no RAM. It's green. What is your problem, browser? We're using literally no RAM. The 3D printing software is using 4 gigs. The window manager is only using 2 gigs. Even the browser is only using a couple gigs. Oh. No, that's not even a gig. It's megabytes. I thought it was like oh, how did it? It's megabytes. I am running an extra browser, though. Well, since you guys say it's still synced, I'm going to just leave it be. I'm not going to make a cameo. That's right. I'm fully winning an ice cream trick. All right, so we were looking at X and talking about encryption. So mouse to the right. There we go. New dashcam encryption feature. Clips are stored in encrypted form on the flash drive. I do like that. I just, like I said, for those of us that can't access them remotely, I don't know what that's going to mean for the workflow. Also, for those folks who have the Raspberry Pi set up where it just, as you get back home, it just streams your streams all your footage back to the computer, you would need a way to decrypt that. And if your car is the only device with the keys, are they killing that software? Again, assuming that you cannot turn it off. Sounding good on YouTube, so I'm about to X, okay? And let's see. Wow. Okay, so what I was actually looking for on the main feed, let me not let my main feed take over here. Let's do. Oh, the screen turned off while I was looking the other way. Are we still on X? It says connecting. I don't like that it says connecting. That's not normal. While we wait for that, let's type in Sawyer and get to the video that I saw that was interesting to me, that I was even on just the raw X feed for. It wasn't the 7-minute reverse. It was not that one, although we got that one too. 10% Canada's new quota for Chinese EVs. Yeah, we talked about this. That one there, it looks like it used to be a Chrysler store, like a Jeep. Cybercab testing in Pennsylvania. Interesting. 50 Starlinks. FSE. There it is. This is what I was looking for right here. Tesla China released its first ever retractable sunshade for Model Y for $1,501 or $236 US, easy to install. So it's manually retractable. It's not electronically retractable like some we've seen on other brands or some aftermarkets. But that is kind of cool to me. I don't know that I'd want it personally, but there are plenty of people who have asked for make the giant ball of fusion go dim more than just the tint. This will do that. It looks all right too. All right, let's see. Workflow. Well, sometimes you want to save the clips, and if your car doesn't have the save clip on the phone button, it makes it harder if it's going to be encrypted and your computer can't play it back and your phone can't play it back. Highlander says send him an invite. I think that's why it says connecting. So let me start it over again. No, rather than start over, I'm going to close X and then open it and see if it reconnects. I don't see X on the home screen anymore. It's the only app I run on the tablet. Once a week. There it is. Okay. So it's not in a space. Fine. We're going to call it Let's Chat. The Technical Difficulty Show returns. Season 77. Let's chat with Kacey and Friends. May. Last day of May, baby. 31st. We'd record it. We're not looking for incognito because we get enough weird occurrences come through without the incognito. Thankfully, not as many as others. All right. Still says connecting. I don't care for that. Let's try to update X, I guess. Play Store. Enjoy new games experience with your profile. Okay, but that's not what we're here for. Got it. Now we're gonna search for X. I should have done it from the push and hold menu, but I thought that going to the Play Store would be faster than trying to aim at this giant screen from so far away. Yeah, there's an update for X. Let's do it. It's not like anything else is working over there. And I'd get the sunshade if it was available here. And would you leave it always open? Would you leave it most of the time closed? Would you base it on the sun? Would you do a partial? I'm convinced it is no longer you. It is X, and Brian White's knows where I live. I believe it's X, because if they're messing with you and they're messing with me, I give them no reason to mess with me. Oof. Oh, that's the grasshopper. Opened up the screen and there was a RUD, but it was grasshopper in the middle of flight before it flipped over. That was years ago. Allow X to record video and audio on this device. Yeah, sure. Because what I requested was a space. Don't you need the microphone for that to happen? All right, let's chat. I wonder if this has happened before, and that's why we had some weeks where there was absolutely nobody in the chat. Not the regular chat, the video chat, but the X Spaces. And friends, May 31st. I've typed this enough times today that it has become part of the autocomplete. Do I want to invite people? Yeah, Highlander's fine. Let's do Scott. No? You don't know Scott? Oh, it's part of the message. I don't give a crap what you call the message. Just bring the people in. There's Scott. And Highlander. That's what Steve was talking about with Gorilla Arm. He was just using it wrong. If anybody was typing like this on their normal main computer, they had other issues. Not that a touchscreen is a bad idea. Just you gotta watch your ergonomics. Okay, it's gone. All right, but it does say it's connected and that it's recording. And my invite screen went away. So that's what we got. Based on the sun and maybe close the back half. All right, yeah. I was okay on the pink X chat video, but your regular chat where co-host never showed up on either one of my channels. The purple one. The purple one is the one that's the hardest for me. There you are. Let's go ahead and give you a microphone. And the band hammer. So you can deal with... Oh, you went away. I was going to give you the moderator stick so that you could deal with the allowing people to speak and not speak and whatever. But you'll be back. I'm assuming X will mess with you. Off topic, I've only charged level 1 all of April and May. I wanted to see what my baseline daily drive usage is. That's an interesting way to find out. What did you find in your experimentation? I found that most of the time I can do it, but like in the wintertime, or if I had a couple trips back to back, it would annoy me. Wintertime, just because it would spend more time on the heater than it would on charging the battery. Let's see. So we were on X, and we found the shade. Now let's look at the other things that distracted me as we opened it. All right, so we're gonna share this tab instead. You know what? I kind of like this whited out info bar. I don't think it's supposed to be that way, but it's a lot easier to read when only the things I can click on show up. And the warning of who's doing what. So we don't need that first tab anymore. And yes, so this is why the Mercedes and Honda system were considered level 3 before everybody else. They were willing to take the liability, although the systems were garbage. They couldn't do anything that FSD or Navigate on Autopilot or Blue Cruise or Super Cruise could handle, but they were willing to take the liability. If it was a bright sunny day, you were traveling less than 40 miles an hour, you were in heavy traffic, there was a car to follow, it was on a mapped road, you were in one of the 2 cars in the world that did it, but they were willing to take the liability. So if BYD is willing to jump in and do this, this is the next step, and this would be the first true... Well, they call it still, it's just level 2 plus, but it'd be the first true crack at it where they are willing to take the liability if there aren't a whole bunch of caveats like we saw on the Mercedes and Honda systems. So let's take a look and see. Level I2 Plus Urban Navigate on Autopilot system in China. BYD is providing one free full year of 100% damage coverage, vehicle repairs, third-party property damage, and personal injury liabilities with no payout cap. Okay, I do like that part, but I don't like this 1 year free part. This should be included with the system. So if the system is a subscription system, that should be part of the subscription. If it's for life, then that should be part of the purchase price, just like it is with the promise of FSD purchasing. And you control the car, you control the robot. I think that's not asking too much as somebody who's no longer in control of the car on that point. It's about gathering data. This is how you get everyone to use it. It's a loss leader. I do get that, and I do like being able to use a loss leader. Lee says it's $20 a month and 600 miles a month for this, or what you found out for April. This is how you get everyone to use it. It's a loss leader. Agreed. They're also fully guaranteeing coverage for owners using their intelligent parking system, which is their version of a Tesla Summon. I guess that means they think it works better, because Summon is either good or bad, depending on what it feels like that day. Like when Lee didn't get it any honey baked ham, and it said, "All right, walk." And the other week when he said, "Here's some chocolate chip cookies," it's like, "Hey, let's go." This is the first time an automaker has ever provided damage reimbursement for an advanced driving system. It's not the third time. It was the first time that anyone's done it at any scale, because the Honda was limited to 100 cars, period. It was this very special edition car. And the Mercedes, it was only available on a couple of roads in Germany and the US. And I don't think it was actually going on like that. Highlander's here. Let's give him the microphone, and then give him the stick too. Where's that at? Invite co-hosts. There. Okay, so now I can't read the words. Sort of like a live translate would be cool.
May I co-host, please?
Yeah, there you are. What do you think about BYD taking liability? That's a step, because like I've been saying, the Mercedes and the Honda systems were the first, but they were so limited that they might as well not count for anything, except for the ability to brag that they were level 3 in very limited conditions. Oh, you muted yourself. I do like the self-parking. Those are always fun.
Is BYD charging the way Tesla does and GM?
I'm wondering if it was a mistranslate, because if it's including 1 year, but I'm thinking it's 1 year of the driving, not 1 year of the insurance. Because if it's, you got to pay the insurance separately, I don't feel that's a good combo if you got to buy the insurance separately. But if they're together,
does BYD have the subscription charge like
Tesla?
Any of the other players?
I think they do, if I'm reading this the way that I think it is. Because the free for 1 full year sounds like they're giving you a free year of FSD. Let's see. Oh, we got comments. I'm sorry. April and May stats. Okay, so that was Lee's stats. Futuraza says that Brian says that my editor has a Dongfeng and it backed into a stationary object and broke the taillight on his second and final use. I don't blame him on Autopark. Wow. 5x5. BYD hasn't charged for the autonomy. No subscription. Oh, okay. So that's different. If it's just a one-time fee like it used to be, and then you can buy insurance for it, that's not as annoying. Although I would like it to be good enough that they would just step up and take it regardless. Like, our software is good enough. Here's insurance for everybody. They may introduce it in the future. Okay, so it sounds like they are for sure loss leading this, just like we saw with Tesla, where get everybody hooked, and then when it actually matters, switch it to a monthly charge. Only Huawei and Tesla have charged extra for it, and only on certain times. Trims. Yeah. Well, Huawei, Tesla doesn't Chevrolet and Ford charge extra for their setup, and then Ultra Cruise and then Super Blue Cruise are gone. They're not on the map anymore, but they didn't pre-sell it like a certain somebody did. I think that deserves a heart. That's good news. So BYD becomes the first automaker to provide full damage coverage for both intelligent parking and urban navigate on autopilot. Offered full damage coverage for the urban navigate on autopilot function. It's interesting they're calling it that. Of its God's Eye BYD assistance system in China. The company made the landmark announcement at its intelligence strategy launch event, where it unveiled China's first 4-nanometer automotive driving system on a chip. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think we're at 6 or 8, something like that. Still small. No, we might still be on 14. Either way, with this new offer, I'm trying to highlight a picture. With this new offer, its commitment to intelligent parking, BYD has become the world's first automaker to offer such dual coverage for its advanced driving assistance systems, or ADAS, furthering its intelligent driving for all strategy. BYD also announced that it's Anders is here. Good evening from Stockholm. Oh, in China, only Tesla and Huawei have charged extra for this. I would say that they were the only ones in that last test we looked at, almost a year ago now, where their cars were worth doing it. BYD was good as well. So it was BYD, Tesla, and I believe Huawei that actually passed the test, where it was like the 20 cars all in.
Hi, Anders.
Blue Cruise and Super Cruise are definitely subscriptions. Everybody says hi, Anders. Good to see you. And that's one way to get the driving miles of data. Yeah, that's exactly what Brian just said. Is that if you do it as a loss leader, you get people to use it. And if people are comfortable using it, knowing that if it screws up, that their car is going to get fixed, they won't be afraid to turn it on. Case in point, your editor's second try crash. Yeah, if the thing hit me for a $2,000 tail light right after I got it, I would not be comfortable using it again. Can't speak for how good Xpeng was a year ago, but they've done great catching up this year. I think if they were not in the podium, they were really close. So it'd be good to hear that they have addressed the concerns of that test by the Chinese researchers. I think it was a school, like a university, and they had like 23 cars, and they had that one guy who's like, the test driver. He was like, my back. I was like, why are you crashing into fake trucks, my dude? I mean, I know why, but like, can we take a break in between these? They don't have American lawyers with 90% billboards advertising car accident claims in the millions. True. However, as such a crash victim, I will say that the numbers are not necessarily what they seem at first. And despite my judge's 20 years of regrets, I do wish that he had not set the precedent with me. But they're still not paying. We'll see what happens. California or the United States in general, this would bankrupt them. The cost to repair EVs is astronomical, and paying for bodily injury and property damage off the charts. No. I mean, yes, repairing is expensive, but if the car were that dangerous, they wouldn't be allowed to sign up to self-insure like that. Their lawyers would eat them alive. I think it's the future in general itself. Yeah, this is expected. That's why I was confused at the statement that the charge for the insurance was separate. Yes, thank you. Robotaxi, Tesla, Tesla AI, are you listening? If you really believe in FSD, why not insure it? To an extent, though, if you have Tesla insurance, they give you a discount for using it and having it. We need Tesla insurance to do that here. Would have saved me $1,000, but more importantly, kept my reach.
All right, here's where, as a co-host of a space, I jump in. So I had my hand up. I don't know why I'm co-host.
I don't know why your hand's up. You know, I'm not looking at the screen. What's up?
Can you hear me, Mr. Green?
Yeah, I hear you. Speak up. Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Check.
I don't think you can hear me.
I can't type back because of the Facebook thing, but let me make sure. Well, I wouldn't be able to hear him in the headphones if the Bluetooth wasn't set up. So let me mute and unmute. Check. Oh boy. Why is X doing this to us today? All right, so I'm going to close X and open it back up. And it's not on the screen anymore because that's how they do me. And we're going to reconnect the space. Reconnect the space. There you go. Now we're going to unmute. Hey, it says I'm talking now. Yeah, I heard you before, Scott. It's blinking. I think that means it's working. But you had your hand up. What you got? He's still muted. Highlander. I have no way to diagnose the space except that now it's purple and blinking when I talk, and before it was not. So I'm assuming that the not blinking purple is why he couldn't hear me before. All right, so while we wait for him to unmute and tell us one way or the other, we'll continue on with this. Yeah, so I think if Tesla Insurance would do that, would be awesome. The fine print will result in zero payouts, and any negative press will be buried by the CCP, just like their vehicles' fires. I don't know about all of that. Regarding uncapped personal injury, I want to draw attention to the word uncapped. Is there anything in Chinese law that protects BYD from the judicial system from making extremely large awards that could threaten the company's finances? I don't think that BYD sets the awards. I think it's that they're going to just pay your medical bills, or if there's anything like our judicial system for that they would just be on the hook for whatever the lawsuit says. Because you know there's going to be a lawsuit. They're not going to just pay out as is if it's ridiculous. The unlock people are sleeping on. Once the automaker stands behind the system, insurance stops pricing human driver risk and starts pricing the machine's real accident rate. The curve drops fast, and the whole cost of owning autonomous vehicles reprices with it. Yes. That's neat. The fact that it's only for a year seems peculiar. But again, like Brian just said, loss leader. I also noticed the drivers in their demo ad aren't comfortable enough with the system to relax their arms, hovering on the wheel, ready to take over at a moment's notice. Maybe they're new to the system. Or maybe they've seen it mess up. Highlander moved off of X. Oh. Yeah, but it was me on X there that did it. This time it looked like this is painful. Thank you for the feedback, Brian. I wanted to add the conversation where FSD is not working, where we can have ice on the front of the car. Brian would know about the Chinese. I wanted to add the conversation is FSD is not working where ice in front of the driver. Yeah, you don't really want to use it in places where they haven't specifically said it's ready to go. I saw in one of the groups I'm in where the lady turned it on and it started driving too fast for conditions. And then it realized it was raining, and so it slowed down, but it wasn't slowing down fast enough. And then it caught a little pocket of water and it hydroplaned, spun around backwards and crashed into the wall. If she was driving manually, it would have done the same thing in those conditions. However, that's a Harbor 3 prepaid FSD car off the road. And if she goes back, it will be a subscription. Tesla self-certified the robot in Cybercab as level 4 autonomy per not Tesla app 2 days ago. I would think it would have to be, though, because if you have no controls over the car, how can they blame you for what it did? Oh, that was the painful part. Kacey, here's you. Can't speak for having good. Okay, so I'm caught up on the chat. Perfect. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting, and we need to now watch this and see how everyone else responds. At least their Chinese peers, but I would like to see others in this participate. But as Lee was saying, if Tesla did it 2 days ago, then we might see more to come. Yes, baby. Monaco? Yeah? Where are you going? I see your shoes. You gonna put your shoes on? Where are you going? She got her sneakers. She's planning to leave the house. Whoa! My oatmeal almost went for a tumble. I don't know where she's planning to go. Unless she thinks her mom's going outside. I'm not sure why CUDA is trending. It's got to be some AI stuff. Or they got it working on the Mac a couple days ago, so it could be that. Let's find that out before we go on to the next thing that distracted me. Do you understand what NVIDIA just pulled off? The N1X since 2023, ghosting Computex and CES, while Intel and AMD thought they owned laptops. Oh, that's right. So there's a new NVIDIA processor, which the likes of which we haven't really seen since the Model S and X switched to Intel, because they were some of the last users of that chip. New era of PCs. 25, 528, 121.599. Are those prices or coordinates? Time codes? Let's take a look. Crack, please advise. Can we go back to the affordable RAM era instead? Yes. All right, I hear a lot of beeping, so I guess yeah, they were going outside. New era PC. Those are coordinates. Taipei, Taiwan. Okay, so I figured it was coordinates. These aren't as hard as they used to be back in the day when that guerrilla marketing solved the puzzle as a world endeavor. Those were kind of fun. Like some folks would get random like puzzles shipped to their home or business, and then everybody was solving them together. Those I don't know how well they would do today, but they were fun. New RTX pay to play. It's got an NFC card reader with a picture. I was gonna say I thought somebody grafted one on in Photoshop, but the chip doesn't go there. Yeah, I guess it only took a minute, but I'll milk you dry. Linus. So we tell us we can only rent GPUs now. We can't actually own the physical device. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried subscription GPUs. Today's era means the new $2,000 GPUs with 12 gigs of VRAM, melting power connectors. Yeah, I'm upset at the melting power connectors thing. DLS that draws frames that your hardware can't render. Microsoft that turned hardware into an AI subscription service for basic performance. And so somebody looked up the coordinates. What's happening at the Taipei Music Center? I didn't realize the thing looked like a seashell. That's kind of cool. Look at that. Something that you guys are on the same page as me. Yep, you are. All right, so now next thing we have before we get to the notebook, we got 2 more of these. So let's take a look. I'm going to share this tab instead, and we're going to close that one. Self-driving cars are fun because you can never see the competing software as a service products having literal standoff in the street. So you got a Zoox and a Waymo staring each other down. And it looks like they were both in the wrong here. I would say the Waymo looks more wrong because the Zoox appears to be on the left turn path, and it looks like the Waymo swung wide like a truck to make its left-hand turn. The angle just looks weird. Maybe it's further over because it was trying to avoid the car coming into its path there. And this guy's like, I'm not waiting on these robots. I'm going to make my left turn and have my day. Edge cases. Plenty of them. Again, very limited markets. Yeah. You're my future jobs moderator and forming an ice cream union. Apple pie pretty soon. Moto is taking over. Showdown at high noon. Exactly. There should be a little bit of that Western music there. Whoa. Oh, okay. Yeah, way more sensors, more problems. They need more LiDAR. Yeah, exactly like that. While this was filmed, at least 4 Tesla FSDs drove right through without an incident. Yeah, probably so. Or they threw red hands and the person took over and it was fine. One possible solution is to enable robotaxis from different companies to communicate with each other directly, allowing them to share intentions and negotiate right-of-way decisions, and perhaps allowing same manufacturer cars to do the same thing. But it shouldn't be necessary. And while it's not necessary, it doesn't mean it won't be useful or an added signal. And Kevin thought like us. This town's only big enough for one of us, pal. Why are we looking at this but in sepia? I don't like it when people redo and claim it as their own like that. I don't mind the first person reposting somebody else's TikTok, but like what did you add by making it yellow? Is it a Western theme? Okay, I'll give you that. I had to watch them on mute, so I wouldn't necessarily hear the music. I'll give them that one. A little text would go a little way, though. What if I was deaf? Robot cars, as my 3-year-old calls them, are so polite, a pleasure to share the road with. I admit I'm guilty for jumping their turn at the stop sign. They don't care, right? I guess that means they're cyclists when they conquer us. Mine is a jerk if you cut it off on its turn at the stoplight. I mean, it'll do the right thing, but I think it might rage harder than me at you stealing my turn at the stop sign. It's amazing when I catch the thing road raging because we haven't given it a vocabulary. I can tell it's getting impatient at a light that's taking too long. It does this weird thing with the brake pedal. Like it doesn't move an inch, but it like thrums the brake pedal, thung, 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 and it like lets it, snaps it back so it reverberates when the spring catches it. And I'm like, okay, tell us you're ready to go without telling us you're ready to go, my dude. And then, of course, during the early betas, where I had all those conversations with it, where I would tell it to do something, it would go beep, 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 as if it was listening, and not do what I asked it to do, or do it differently than I was expecting it to do. And I would call that, in a sense, it talking back. But this new one, you can tell in the way that it moves and the way, like I said, the thing with the brake pedal, that I feel that it's kind of talking back a little bit. Almost forgot my medication. All right, so now turn the screen back on the tablet. Notice it got dark over there. There we go. The godfather of software as a service nearly brought a tank to Cebu convention as a marketing fodder. He ended up doing a protest. The tank would have been better, in my opinion. I don't understand. All right, so continuing on to the next thing. Well, let's see what you guys have to say before I do the next thing. At least Brian gets my sense of humor. I better include freeze-dried spiders as part of the payoff. All right, so the next not pre-scheduled was this one here. We're talking about another Tesla Model Y off a cliff. 2 people drove the Tesla off a cliff in Malibu on Friday. All passengers survived with only moderate injuries. I certainly hope we don't find this is a similar case as the last time we saw a white Model Y off a cliff, where the guy was trying to end his family because of, 1, mental issues, but 2, permanent solutions to temporary problems. All people survived. There was a caption there. The video of the rescue. When the crews arrived, the driver of Tesla was yelling for help when pinned inside the car. Airlifted to a trauma center with moderate injuries. 300 feet off Malibu Highway. The Holland Highway. Cars at the bottom of the cliff. The crews arrived. Drivers outside yelling for help. So I don't think, based on that, this was the same situation as the previous one. It's amazing that Tesla airbags will deploy before hitting the ground in those cases. Do we know that? We know it'll pre-deploy on the new cars if FSD detects that collision is imminent and unavoidable. Tesla's getting so safe that even if humans tried to off themselves by jumping off a cliff, I don't think this was the case here. No, not this time, but it definitely was the previous time. The car would save them. Safest car on the planet, hands down. Thelma and Louise mode. Let's go. Is that the same spot where the father tried to end his whole family by doing the same? Also in a Tesla. White Tesla Model Y, same. Also, everyone survived. I was always puzzled why Tesla didn't promote the hell out of the safety features after that. They may not have a full marketing team, but I think they have some folks to tell them that that's probably not a smart thing to attach yourself to. That was farther north at Half Moon Bay. Tesla saves lives. Twisty road. Why is this thing with Teslas? Why is it? What? It's been 2 of them, maybe more, but 2 that we know of. And other cars do this too, and it doesn't end well. It's the thing with cars, unfortunately. That's right, Omar. It wasn't even an accident. Air taxi still paid it. Do you want to continue your journey via air travel? If they didn't survive, then that would be some seriously dark humor, but they survived, so. Everyone knows gas vehicle would explode once it hit the ground, at least in movies. Oh, yeah, we've seen that one too many times in movies. But in pop culture, the Tesla would have already been on fire as well. And in either case, it never happened that way, which is good to see. Unsurprisingly, it's not even something this extreme has happened in a Tesla, only for all occupants to be basically fine. Yeah, like the time that the Honda Accord slammed into the back of the Model 3 or Model S, and then everybody in the Accord died and everybody in the Tesla walked away. Tesla is an extraordinary company. No automotive, robotics, AI group has ever successfully focused on protecting life of all kinds. Volvo had a thing a while back. My friend's Toledo Estates. Toledo's East Side still wants to convert a used Model Y into a minivan, and all I can think is insurance liability, OMG. Look at Maxwell Highlander. You can get a Model 3 or Y converted into a Stellantis Ducato. So a Ram, what's the Ram van called now? The Ram van. According to news reports, the Tampa Bay area of Florida, an 87-year-old driver killed while using autopilot after driving into a pond. I'm curious the full story on that one because there were some times where autopilot would not avoid water, but I thought they patched that. I'm curious. This was a few days ago. If you got a link, I'd like to see it. I don't know if it'll let you put the link, but you know how to give me a link. Actually, I've got this thing up here. It should let me do it anyway. Try it there first. Let's see. Now we've got. That's the end of the. Yeah, it's the end of the slideshow. So let's go ahead and pull out my notebook. Admittedly thin this week, but there should be something in it. Let's see what we got. I don't even. There it is. I don't even see the button. Open the sidebar. That's the 24th. So we need the 31st. So we need to click this. That. Oh, not that. This. Here. There we go. We've got 9 things in there. That's better than I thought. 29, 26. Okay, so it's at the bottom. Start at the bottom. And this one was a Ride the Lightning episode with Lars talking about new interviews on why Tesla S and X were discontinued. It was what Brian and Patrick and I suggested, that the minute it became they had to rebuild the car for any regulations, that they would just cancel it instead. I haven't heard it yet, but that is my summary of what I was looking to hear him speak about. Ford has announced it's signed a 5-year deal to supply. Okay, so yes, this one is. You can copy this link to the clipboard. Go back to the one you guys are looking at. A very cloudy, overcast day, and we're still pulling in 94 watts of solar on the backyard array. All right, so Ford has announced it has signed a 5-year deal to supply up to 20 gigawatt hours of storage capacity to renewable power developer EDF. Under that deal, EDF can procure up to 4 gigawatt hours of DC block battery energy storage systems annually from the current carmaker's unit, Ford Energy. Why do you have so many extra batteries? Shouldn't you be making cars? But at the same time, economy of scale, if you can buy more batteries, you can build more cars. And we've seen others do this, and it works out well. We've seen Tesla, LG, BYD. Who else? We've seen a lot of people do this. We got comments coming in. Let's take a look. Yeah, there wasn't much detail in the reporting. I have a unicorn story for the end of the show, if you're willing. It's about electric buses. I like electric buses. Yeah, let's take a look. My theory is that once production fell below one full shift, it wouldn't make sense. If they needed the space, they'd use it. Yeah, we said that one, but we also had talked about how if there was a need to adjust the car and they wouldn't be able to make their money back on the adjustment, they would just end it. And it sounded like, from the summary, that the European crash tests were going to get harder, and that there was yet another change coming to the IIHS testing to make it that time for the S and X. Every major battery maker has a stationary storage division. This is true. It's always a little weird to me when somebody's complaining about batteries and that they have enough batteries to do this, but at the same time, that does increase their volume and decrease their cost per unit. So it's not a stupid idea. It just takes me aback. Like, oh, I don't have lunch money, but you could eat out. Okay. Cell capacity, 512 amp hours. At what voltage? 5.425 megawatt hours. Not bad. Cell dimension, 73 by 275 by 210 millimeters. That's a big battery. Because like the printer bed of my 3D printers are somewhere in those ranges. The big one's a little bigger than that. The small one is also a little bigger than that, but not much. That's a big battery. Voltage range is, oh, there we go. 1040 to 1500 voltage DC. So So 512 amp hours of that. That's quite high voltage. It's a 20-foot storage container, so it's a TEU. So you can easily put it on a ship or a train or a boat, and they know what to do with it, assuming that you have the appropriate connections on the corners there. Project weight is 43.5 tons. Auxiliary power load is max 37.5 kilowatts. So the next question is this all in one, like the Mega Pack, or is this like the Chinese ones where you have a battery and an inverter and? We'll see if they tell us. The noise is less than 75 decibels. All right. Cooling method is liquid, as to be expected. Corrosion protection level is C5. Ingress protection is IP55. It's not bad. Operating temperature is negative 35 to positive 55 C. The negative 35 is harder to do because getting below 40 is not a given. I'll see you next time, Brian. Good to have you. Brian, you not like to drive off a cliff? I mean, to prove it. Clearly, driving off. Clarius Batteries tried hiring me, watching them closely. And it's all in one like the Mega Pack. Good to see. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. And it was really nice for Brian to come in. Yes, I enjoy having him over. And let's see. Let's take a look and see what Ford has to say for themselves. It looked bigger in the picture. Agreement provides EDF power. Is any of it different than what he already summarized for us? Framework agreement positions Ford Energy as a key battery energy supply system as a supplier for EDF power. The agreement underscores the scale of demand emerging for domestically supplied utility-grade energy storage and reflects both companies' commitment to accelerating the deployment of reliable, long-duration storage infrastructure that strengthens the U.S. power grid. I hear a large truck. A large truck is ringing my doorbell. Lee gave me a link in text. I will grab that. First, let's see what's going on with why there's a large truck sound outside. Go live. Oh, it's a FedEx truck. The local FedEx truck is a rattle trap. I don't know why. All right, so was that for me or for somebody else? Oh, for me. I guess I'll have to grab that before it rains. And it's for my wife. Okay, maybe she'll get it. I heard them out there before. Let's see. Now I need to open up a browser window to pull the link in from Lee. Since I remember the mouse goes right and not left. All right, so we're going to recycle a tab. Yeah, we're going to recycle a tab. I don't need this one anymore. We're going to go to for that one. And then we're going to let it spin. We're going to click on this from Lee. And we're going to copy this link. Oh, yeah, I did see that you sent me a message, and then I guess the phone restarted or something. But I need to listen to this marching band edition. Let's see now. Let's go to the shared tab, which is this one with the Ford. We're going to paste and go. Tesla in autopilot mode sinks pond after striking electrical box, killing West Chapley man. So autopilot, if it's literally autopilot, I could see it making that mistake because it hasn't had any updates in a while. But that could be a lack of familiarity with the system. They just call it autopilot or self-drive when it's something else. Hi, baby. You got a costume change? And you're wearing your shoes? I like your pretty shoes. Huh? That's mommy. Daddy's over here. Troopers say they should be hit the electrical box before becoming fully submerged in a nearby pond. 35-year-old female passenger survived the wreck and is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries at an area hospital. So did he drown or did whatever made him? No, because they were on autopilot. He said. Well, we do know it. Troopers say, a 7-year-old West Chesley Chapel man was traveling eastbound overpass Road 810 in Tesla Model Y in autopilot mode. So we're going to need to see the computer report on that one because it could not have been in autopilot mode because it doesn't exist anymore. They had auto steer and they have FSD. And if he had it just right, he could have done enhanced autopilot, which is now, I guess, going to be enhanced auto steer. When they left the roadway east of Infinite Drive, according to FHP, the vehicle struck an electric box and kept moving until it went into a pond and became submerged. Now, did it keep driving or did momentum haul it into the pond? Because our friend in the Facebook group, when her car did the hydroplane, as soon as it was going 180 degrees from where it should have been going, autopilot did kick out, according to her dash cam, the tagging on it. First responders took the man to an area hospital where he died from the injuries he suffered in the crash. Troopers said the vehicle. The man was taken to an area hospital where he died from the injuries he suffered in the crash, where she was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. But we don't know. It's unclear what caused the vehicle to crash. I like they also called it a crash and not an accident. It's unclear how deep the pond was or how long the victims were inside the submerged SUV before crews arrived. Yeah, and the names of the driver and passenger have not been made public by investigators. This is one to watch. Lee, if you catch any updates on it, if you don't mind sending them my way. All right, and now I got to get the view back because the view is all jiggly from what I did. There we go. And turn on tablet. Okay, good. We're still good on the tablet. And or did the driver panic and hit the accelerator? That's also a possibility, and that's another reason I want to see the report because it will tell us exactly what happened. And the other thing of it is that if it truly was in any of the autonomy modes, we definitely want them to use this data to improve the system. Will do regarding updates to the story. I think Tesla should have paid closer attention, saying Monroe, who signed my t-shirt, by the way, you need more than cameras. That's why FSD is not working in northern areas where there's snow and heavy rain. I get what Elon is saying about why cameras should be all they need. But just like the rain sensing, I think that they might have gone too soon on that. I mean, yeah, eventually, yes, that's all you need, but why not just take stuff away when you prove you don't need it instead of before it's working? How am I live streaming to Facebook? So I've got a platform called, used to be called Melon, and now it's called Talk Studio, and they do the multi-stream. And then if they raise the prices and don't improve the quality, I'll find another way to do it. But I'm thinking that I want to move this in-house because my board here does MDI, and I've got all these Linux servers over here. So I think that I could do it myself. I just have to take the time to learn how to work the software. but this one works well enough, so that's why I've never taken the time to actually do it correctly manually. All right, so next in the notebook, let's go back and see where we are. So I still need to watch the Ride the Lightning post. I've opened that to remind me. We looked at the Ford battery, BYD Pulse. So another BYD story. Let's go take a look here. We're going to copy the... I like that it's got web archives, so that way if the stuff goes missing, I can still use it. Sunny Southwest. Greetings, Timothy. Good to see you. Greetings from the 2 Sunny Southwest. I get that when ice covers the sensor, it's game over. Yeah, exactly that with the ice. So it's gonna. I think it's gonna be still a sensor fusion situation. Yeah. I mean, but like I said, the cameras can still be primary, and then you just have like some backups, which would be nice to have. BYD's new One Plus EV adds more range and fast charging for $18,000. There's a video at Electric. Same color as the new Ferrari EV. Full self-driving fraud lawsuit gets a hearing in China. 10 owners seek $583,000. Interesting. Okay, we'll look at that. But let's see. Share this tab instead. Close that. So $18,000 for an EV. One that looks comfortable and spacious. And it's got a real frunk. Look at that frunk. That frunk is huge. They announced a 3rd generation One Plus sold overseas at the Atto 3. Okay, we're familiar with the Atto. With its new flash charging and 400-mile driving range. The upgraded electric SUV is on sale now, starting at $18,000. Wow. I remember when I first saw my first BYD over at the Detroit Auto Show. It was trash, but they've come a long way. That car was terrible. It looked like a Corolla, but it was not. Oh, it was terrible. But like I said, they've come a long way, and they make good buses, they make good batteries, and that was what feels like 30 years ago now. It wasn't, but it was at least 20. Ooh, I'm getting old. Measuring stuff in decades, multiple decades then. And remembering them like they were yesterday. Motor License told me stuff about that happened yesterday, and it was years ago. I was like, oh, you remember that, huh? You're actually thinking she means literally yesterday, XYZ. No. This was 2 months ago. This was last year. We'll get her some more words for time as she begins to notice its passing. The One Plus, which sold the Atto 3 in Europe and other global markets, is one of BYD's most popular EVs. In 2025, it was the 13th best-selling EV globally with nearly 224,000 deliveries. For the 3rd generation, they introduced the Blade Battery 2.0 and flash charging, enabling longer driving range and charging in as little as 5 minutes. So I'm guessing that 400 miles, did they say 400 miles? I thought I saw 400 miles. Yeah, so that 400 miles has got to be on the China cycle. So let's call it 280 to 350 in any other cycle. Charging technology, enabling a longer driving range as little as 5 minutes. And while BYD has launched several new vehicles equipped with the new tech, most have been higher end models such as the Denza Z9 GT, the Yangwang U7, and the flagship Great Tang Datang full-size SUV. The Yang Plus or Atto 3 is the first mass market vehicles to receive the upgrade. BYD, I think my brother and how do you call it? Stepbrother? No. Yeah. Anyway, I think that he drives Atto 3 in Brazil. 119,001 or 17.6. That's slightly higher than the outgoing version, which started at 115,801 or 17. OnePlus features plenty of upgrades. These. Okay. All models are now equipped with BOD's flash charging tech, enabling the recharge. Yeah, you don't want one of them to be slow or slowing things down, unless you can tell that's going to be the slow one. It's available with a rear-mounted electric motor, producing either 268 horsepower, 200 kilowatts, or 321 horsepower, or 240 kilowatts. The batteries are able to sustain the same extreme performance as that Ford battery at the negative 22C. It only takes 23 minutes longer to replenish from 20 to 97%. Wow. For an extra $12,001 or $1,800, buyers can upgrade to the God's Eye, which we just talked about, with the God's Eye with the insurance liability. Looks like the big battery version of this has about 13 miles less range than the outgoing Atto 3 EVO. The pack capacity is smaller despite the car getting physically larger. That puts the EPA range something like 40 miles short of things like the ID4. Although the Atto 3 is closer to the size of the Model Y, it probably has similar range to the 60 kilowatt hour version of the Model Y. I mean, LFPs do have less range than the nickels, but they last longer and they're safer. It'll be interesting to see whether people go for this or prefer longer range rivals that charge slower. But I can kind of see charging faster means you can get away with less range. If it charges faster and has less range and is cheaper, that makes it easier. Interesting. Let's see what you guys have to say about it. If you ever go to Detroit again, you better call me. That's my home turf. Yeah, sure. Uh-oh. There we go. It's been a long time since I've been to Detroit. The last time I went was also the auto show. It was the auto show where the new Corvette came out, the Stingray, and the Cadillac ELR was still the Cadillac Converge with a J. That one was one of the most disappointing car launches I've ever had. The Model 3 wasn't out yet, no. The Roadster had done a road trip in the snow from California. I think S was coming out. S was out. Or coming out soon. No, S was out, but the S40 was still for sale at the time. Nissan's post regarding the Ferrari Luce was great. I've got to see that as well. If you're in Detroit for the auto show, I'm beginning to think you're a much bigger deal than I thought. Let's see. Now, the next item in the notebook is a little something I found from Mark, and we talked about it elsewhere, but I already put it in the notebook, so we're going to look at it. The first supercharger in Colombia is now open. Cool design. It's a Colombian flag supercharger. My mom's best friend on Detroit's largest ticket agency, so we got into everything for free. Nice. All right, the next one. Copy link to clipboard. Paste and go. This is Max Ziegler. We spend a lot of time supplying charging demand in mature markets, but the reason Tesla charging started is raison d'etre. The reason to exist, the reason we did this is the freedom to roam anywhere in an electric car. That's why opening up new markets is special and meaningful to work on. A lot of work ahead, but excited to start scaling superchargers here. LATM needs awesome infrastructure for the transition. Latin America. Tesla charging. The first Colombian supercharger is now open in Medellin, Bogota. Oh, Medellin and Bogota. So you actually have 2 places to go to. Nice. At Tesla.com. Find us. Let's look at the pictures again. Yeah. Oh, this one's got the thing in the middle. Who's it by? Because it's not the same one as the EU one. But that's there for a reason. If Tesla put it there and has it in the picture. Extremely disappointed with your sales and support in Colombia. 6 months and sorted in 3, and I still have no updates or explanation from the local sales team. Why have gotten are laughable. Are you aware of how poorly it's being handled in Colombia? He's probably not. Unfortunately, that's how you get his attention. And yeah, they could do better. They like to take people out of the loop a little early sometimes. I want to drive my Cybertruck from Naples, Florida to Anchorage, Fairbanks, Juneau, and spend 2 months there using only supercharging. Please make it happen. And for what's in the world? Oh, the sun came out a little bit. I was like, what is that? It was the cable to my monitor. I'm looking through it. Because again, I'm used to looking at a wall and the camera with you guys in it over there. Yes, we appreciate if you fix the problems here and expand rural access instead of heavily focus on saturated areas. Please communicate, which no one at Tesla does. Okay, that's enough of the belly aching session. Let's. Joel, good to see you. What's up with your glasses? Do you have an eye issue? These glasses have my prescription in them, but they also have a display in them. So I don't need to have my teleprompter take up the whole desk, so I can look along at the articles with you guys. I can make this dimmer and brighter and darker. Okay, but my cameras are not good enough to always pick my eyes up in them. So I think I'll get the next version when it comes out, and hopefully they go even clearer. Those are Mr. Green's super special, highly advanced AI glasses. They have a camera in them, but I don't know that any of the AI stuff actually works other than making 2D stuff into 3D is an option that they just enabled. I'm going to have to look you up on Facebook. Okay, where were we? Oh, yeah, they were complaining about everything at Tesla. So next, we're going to look at heat. Copy link to clipboard, paste and go. Grab some oatmeal. Heat is the nemesis of EV performance. Mercedes-AMG engineers went all out to contain it. Let's see what they did. That seems to be a copy of the VYD battery. They may have come to a solution that matched. This one was not there when I went, but this one was, and I marked it already. Thermal management is the real battleground for performance EVs. If you can't shed the heat, all that horsepower is useless after 2 laps. And you train. Depending on the track, it might not even be 2 laps. You'll soon be able to hitch a ride in the high-tech Zeekr vans, which Waymo is using to expand its robotaxi fleet. Waymo says that its next-gen Ojai robotaxis are ready for prime time. They amazingly look less weird than the Jaguar. And I think that's all we need from that particular story right there. Let's go ahead and see what Mercedes did there. Share this tab instead. Close that one. Their EV battery is terrifyingly over-engineered. Here's where you'll see it first. I don't know what they mean by over-engineered. You want just the right amount of engineered. Okay, the thing about the heat again. It's a four-door coupe. Words that don't go together. But marketing has made it happen anyway. It's an 800-volt system, one box integrated DC to DC converter and onboard charger. to be expected. Highly stable battery housing as part of the vehicle structure. So it sounds like structural pack. Silicon anodes. Silicon anodes are now not cone. Silicon anodes are now entering production to improve electric vehicle charging speeds. My Model S had a silicon anode, and it sucked. But it was the very first edition of the 90D battery, and they were still learning how to get the chemistry right. My second 90D battery in that car was much more stable. Anyway, they're still blended with graphite. Startups work to develop 100% silicon anodes. This unique battery allowed the Mercedes AMG GT to charge from 10 to 80% in 11 minutes. That's not bad. Electric vehicles have a tough life, temperature swings. This latest generation, the super sedan, has ditched its V8 engine for an all-electric powertrain. I heard people complaining about a Ferrari Tesla Roadster conversion. There's a pair of them that are running EVs now. They're with some sort of Tesla powertrain, but the comments were terrible. People who wanted to hear vroom vroom noises. It's like, how do you know the engine didn't seize and they didn't want to go back? You just assume they took a pristine car and converted it, which I would probably do, but most normal people won't. They're like, hey, this thing is useless without a powertrain. Let's convert it now. 600 kilowatts of peak charging power turned eyeballs. Yeah, it's a little over 0.6 megawatts. Yeah. Some major battery details have slipped under the radar to stand out: the silicon anode and the over-engineered cooling loop. Is it over-engineered, or is this worthy of the AMG badge? If you can't take it to the track, does it get to have the performance name on it? Cylindrical cells developed from scratch. So then how's it anything like BYD if it's cylindrical cells? They use blades. Pouches. Mega pouches. Blades. Direct cooling of each cell using electrically non-conductive oil. So it's a combo. Non-conductive oil sounds like where BMW was running refrigerant through their batteries. The GT's 106 kilowatt hours of usable battery capacity delivers up to 700 kilometers or 434 miles of range on the European WLTP cycle, translating into over 300 miles of comparable range in the tougher US EPA cycle. When the car reaches US shores later this year, it'll be the fastest charging EV in America, with a claim to 10 to 80% of the time in just 11 minutes. The silicon anode is what makes the charging performance possible. Think of the anode as part of the cell responsible for how much energy the battery can store, and how quickly it can charge. Traditionally, battery makers have relied on graphite anodes for their stability and energy density. But with China maintaining a chokehold on graphite supply chains, with many environmental concerns about graphite mining, automakers are now integrating silicon graphite anodes as an interim solution. The goal is to phase out graphite entirely, replacing it with either 100% silicon or synthetic graphite as alternatives. The Nissan and Ferrari link. All right. Let's take a look. Drivetrain concept with up to 600. That's a concept. Oh man, 600 kilowatts of charging power. But they say it's coming soon, so I guess drivetrain concepts are easier to get through than car concepts. High performance drive unit in the rear twin. So it's dual electric rear motors, huh? Or a twin of the front one. High performance electric drive unit, front single. No, it's tri-motor. Because they wouldn't say dual twin and single if they weren't tri-motor. It's a foot garage. So this is they copied from Lucid, yeah? The foot garage is where you remove some cells from the structure so that you can put people's feet. And Lucid does this. High performance batteries. So they're looking at other people's homework, and that's fine. On the AMG DT, a silicon-containing anode reaches a cell-level energy density of 298 watt-hours per kilogram, which is at the high end of today's commercially available automotive-grade lithium-ion cells. The cathode, on the other hand, is nickel, cobalt, manganese, so it's standard, and NCMA, which automakers have historically associated with longer range and better energy density. Combination allows Mercedes to charge at 600 kilowatts. All right, well, we'll see more when it gets here. Let's take a look at what Lee has for us here. Gotta change tabs to this one. We're going to copy this. And we're going to go back to here. Then we're going to see. Okay, I don't have another copy of that already in the notebook. I'm going to paste and go. Nissan is flattered by comparisons between the Leaf and the Ferrari Luce. So now we know also why they only showed us the interior and steering wheel of the Ferrari at first, and not the whole car. The backlash was strong. There's a good chance that Nissan's jab at Ferrari won't go unnoticed. We admit it, we're flattered. So the new Ferrari is an SUV, much like the Leaf and the Aria, but obviously faster. The color, they pick the same color. The breakdown. Nissan has a message. They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so thank you, Ferrari. The Luce and the Leaf have vastly different designs, but that hasn't stopped people from comparing the two EVs. Nissan Ireland shared the post on Facebook and Instagram. We never thought we'd see the day we'd talk about Nissan and Ferrari in the same article, but here we are. The color is similar, and if you squint, passing resemblance of the overall shape, I still think that the Ferrari is sleeker. And that looks like just a generic CEV, and that take the Ferrari badge off, and it looks like a Porsche to me, a Porsche EV. It does look like the Taycan. This angle I like. The rear angle is what people are clowning them for. Company's division just took to social media, showcased the two cars together, and as you can imagine, the comment section erupted. Nissan claimed it was flattered that people saw the Leaf design traits in the Luce, and even if it is, let's be honest, they look vastly different. This Facebook post is no longer available. Yeah, somebody at Nissan probably found out and told them to take it down. But they didn't stop there. Nissan even left a direct message for Ferrari. They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so thank you, Ferrari. Nissan, always a smart choice. Automakers rarely poke at each other online, yes, it's true. And few expected Nissan to take a jab at Ferrari of all competitors. It remains to be seen whether Maranello will offer a response. The link to the video has been removed. Unfortunately. That would have been awesome if they left it up and then Ferrari had something to say back. Motor One's take. We have a feeling that Nissan Ireland's post on Facebook and Instagram won't remain online for long. You got that right. Then again, there's really no reason for Ferrari to be upset, as it's just a harmless joke to drive social media engagement. And after all, the Leaf and the Luce are hardly direct rivals. Yeah, that would really make a difference right there. The electric prancing hose just kicks off at 550,000 euros in Italy, whereas the Leaf starts at just under 41,000 euros, making the Ferrari roughly 13.5 times more expensive. Let's be real. No one is cross-shopping a Ferrari with a Nissan. I wouldn't say nobody, but I would say very few people are doing that. Regardless of the models, the only vehicle that could ever pose a serious threat to the Italians is the GTR, and sadly, Godzilla won't be returning anytime soon. You say that. Ferrari's former boss slams the Luce EV, risks destroying a legend. Okay. Ferrari asked its F1 drivers about the Luce, and here's what they said. First car with room for 5 people. And the configurator has 35 colors. Here's all of them. I don't have time for 35 colors. If I was buying one, yeah, but nah. Okay, so I hope the charge port is in the right place for the AMG. Agreed. That charge point guy did an awesome YouTube video where the Walmart chargers. Oh yeah. Wait, the ChargePoint or Tom Malogny? He did a good job too. And how they need to swap the cables around and adapt to the Tesla NAC charging locations. Ice's sister and Michigan has a good 2023 Nissan Ariya, and Brian White, familiar, actually met her. She loves it. Where were we? We were at Heat. So now we're going to copy link to the clipboard. And yes, I did also have the Ferrari up next. Good timing, Lee. Imagine having a Cybertruck-sized battery and getting 20% less range. Ferrari should be genuinely embarrassed. So I wasn't agreeing with that. I just had the picture of the car there. And I thought it was neat. And then I wanted to point out that, yes, it may have Cybertruck level capacity, but if it's supposed to be a sports car and you take it to the track, you might need all of that power. Just saying. Especially if it's a sports SUV. And especially if it's prettier than it is aerodynamic. Made it bev, nobody bought one, so we'll go back to ICE. Incoming. It's also a real possibility. Less range because it's designed for performance, not range. Yep. 4 motors, which probably can't be disconnected for highway cruising. EV ranges are all BS anyway. Even the Cybertruck range is not relevant because you use it to do truck things like towing and the range gets destroyed. Yeah. It's not very good at performance either. 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. Triangular dumpster does 2.6. You don't want me to compare it to a Plaid. No, you don't. Looks like it ran behind and subsequently buckled in the middle. Just count a bigger battery, then who cares if it takes hours to charge? Every automaker except Tesla. Which would you choose, the Ferrari or the Cybercab? The Ferrari. I can drive it. And it seats 5 instead of 2. At the end of the day, all EVs are pretty ugly because they're designed for low drag. AI needs to gig accelerate battery energy density. What? Here's an EV from 15 years ago. We have the technology. Yep. Classic Model S. I did like mine except for the first battery. And what it did to my left thigh. I couldn't take long stretches in it at the end, which is why I went for Model X, where the seating position is more chair-like, where you just legs bent, so straight out like a race car. The funny thing is, the Luce is the same length as the Model S. I thought it was a Model 3 size, but it's much higher than the Model S, so it must look like an absolute tank in person. I called it an SUV for a reason. I don't know. You could say it's the ugliest Ferrari ever, but I bet you people would put it on the list for sure. This is the project Apple's working on and then sold to Ferrari. It's possible. Tesla Roadster 2 will beat this Ferrari in cost, looks, and performance. Oh, guaranteed. Imagine being Ferrari and releasing this with a Ferrari badge. The Dino never got a Ferrari badge, and neither should this. The Dino? I'm hoping this thing just gives me a picture. It was easier just to hit the button than to type a search in the context. It didn't even do what I asked it to do. You know. I just trained a small leg for this. The Dino reference. Oh, it's thinking still. Still thinking. So, Lee Moon, former Apple design chief. Yeah, Johnny Ive was definitely at least on the interior, if not the whole thing. First TV I ever drove was a Model S Plaid on a makeshift track strip in Muskegon. And the bearded Tesla guy was our flagman. Nice. I have the video. I keep meaning to send it to Pete Gruber. The Dino in that tweet refers to the original Ferrari Dino sports cars from the late 1960s and 70s. These were Ferrari's first mid-engine production cars, starting with the 206 GT in 1968, followed by the iconic 246 GT and GTS. They were named after Enzo Ferrari's late son, Alfredo Dino Ferrari, who helped develop the V6 engine used in them. Unlike Ferrari's flagship V12 models, which Enzo jealously guarded with the prancing horse badge for, the Dinos were deliberately marketed under a separate Dino sub-brand. No Ferrari name or badge on the cars themselves. They were positioned as more affordable entry-level Ferrari, still expensive, but half the price of a Daytona at the time, to boost volume and take on rivals like Porsche. Pininfarina designed 246 GT. They've had other people designing their cars for a long time. 2.4-liter V6, 195 horsepower. It's literally half the engine as their flagships. Lightweight, razor-sharp handling is now widely regarded as one of the most beautiful and pure driving Ferraris ever built. A true classic that's highly collectible today. It doesn't even have their logo on it. Here's what the original Dino 246 looked like in a few colors. That's what I was getting at. So I want pictures of the thing. Okay, so yeah, I've seen pictures of these. Neat. Why the tweet mentions it is throwing shade at Ferrari's new Luce EV, the four-door electric sedan with the huge battery and disappointing range. He's saying it doesn't deserve the full Ferrari badge and the prancing horse, just like the Dino originally didn't. In his view, both are not real Ferraris, one for being V6 entry level and the other for being an EV that looks like a cheap Stellantis product. I didn't see him say all that. Oh, the BBC said it. I'm sorry. Wow. Shade too. Ironically, the Dino is now fully embraced by Ferrari collectors and historians. Some fans online have even joked that Ferrari should have revived the Dino name for the Luce to avoid diluting the main brand. The backlash to the Luce has been intense overall. Lots of this isn't a Ferrari sentiment. Yeah, I've seen a lot of it. Oof. Dr. Scott Walters of robot fame made it to 145. I checked out 135 miles an hour. I think the fastest I've ever had mine was 125. I got the red screen, and then I ran out of room. I was on the track that Kyle uses, the out of spec track, and I ran out of room. I did start with a really low battery too, so it could have been better, but the timing just wasn't there. Okay, so now we've done our Ferrari posts. Let's take a look at clean energy boom. Copy link to the clipboard, paste and go. Clean energy is booming in the US and unraveling at the same time. Clean energy developers announced more than 50 new utility-scale solar, wind, and battery storage products in 2026 Q1. And as companies scramble to get projects moving before a looming federal deadline tied to the administration's big bill passed last year, according to new data from E2, the Clean Economy Works Report, developers announced 54 new large-scale renewable energy products between January and March, nearly double the number of active projects during all of 2025, which is the same thing we saw on the personal side. You force the people to pull up their projects, and you get a large cluster of EV, solar, battery, whatever the case is. In this case, it's grid scale clean energy. And then it looks like it falls off a cliff the next couple of quarters, and then it goes away. I'm sorry, not goes away. Then the slump goes away. It comes back, and I think we'll see that here. And I think we'll see a bunch of people trumpeting, "Oh yeah, see, there's no new solar deployments. There's no new batteries. There's no new wind. Blah blah blah. I win. Down with windmills." But what we'll actually see is that then, after the trumpets have been trumpeted, probably even the very next quarter, we'll see like, record new deployments. Maybe not even like the next quarter, but like we'll see it start to come back up, and then like within a year or two, we'll see like a new record. Especially as these companies realize their savings, and the ones on the generation side realize the free power from the sky. Good to see you, Lee. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Maybe Lee can figure out how to get to the video because it's hilarious. It represents more than 18 billion in planned investments and would add over 12 gigawatts of energy generation and storage capacity to the grid, enough to power around 2 million homes. The report underscores something the industry has been warning about for months. Developers are rushing to break ground before federal clean energy tax incentives become harder to access. Yeah, because depending on how where they are and how it's structured, just starting the project is enough to go ahead and get the money for it. Companies are trying to move quickly ahead of the July 4th deadline that would make future projects more difficult to finance. But also cancellations are piling up. At the same time, E2 says that the administration's attacks on clean energy projects, along with congressional efforts to roll back incentives and funding, are having a negative impact on electricity supplies and prices. This one is a little weirder. Obviously, if you are no longer approved for your grant, you might not have the money to make it happen, but just because somebody doesn't like it, unless you are doing something else that needs their blessing, screw them. They don't like windmills, so you're going to take a hit to your balance sheet. That's quite an ideological mistake to make for somebody who will throw you away. They don't care. Anyway, while developers have announced dozens of new projects in Q1, the companies also canceled 38 utility-scale solar, wind, and battery projects during the same period. That is nearly half of the total number of clean energy cancellations recorded during all of 25, when 85 projects were scrapped. Those canceled projects would have added nearly 8 gigawatts of electricity generation capacity, enough to power roughly 2 to 3 million homes or 4 data centers. Okay, I don't know how many data centers it'd be, but looking at you, Georgia, if you can't keep the power price down, then it sounds like you need more power. Georgia, New Jersey, who else? Definitely Virginia, always Virginia. The economic losses are significant. According to E2, the canceled projects accounted to nearly $13 billion in local investments, which would have supported or created around 33,000 construction jobs. Good gracious. For comparison, canceled projects throughout the calendar year of 25 accounted for around 27 billion lost and 45,000 jobs. And we're not even halfway done with this one. Or since it's July 4th, you could say we're more than halfway done. Either way. The report comes as electric demand is rising sharply across the U.S. due to AI data centers, including industrial growth, transportation, electrification, and solar, wind, and battery storage remain the cheapest and fastest forms of sources of new electricity generation to deploy at scale. And it's true. Why not just connect these free energy devices and then these cheap energy storage devices and orchestrate them and call it a day? Aside from politics. Clean energy manufacturing slowdown is getting worse. The manufacturing side of the clean energy economy is slowing down too, because they're made all over the world, and we've been picking fights with all over the world. E2 tracks several canceled, closed, or downsized manufacturing projects during Q1 of 26, including Oklahoma, Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia. Come on, Georgia. You don't have time for this. Those projects would have represented nearly $1.35 billion in investment around and around 8,100 jobs. Meanwhile, companies announced only 12 new major manufacturing projects during the quarter, totaling just 758 million and nearly 2,000 jobs. A dramatic slowdown compared to 23 and 4, when the companies announced an average of 60 new clean energy factories every quarter. Yeah, but see, this is all going to just take care of itself, because if you are using the methane plant and your neighbor is using solar and batteries, and your other neighbor is using nuclear, your methane is going to cost you a lot. Interestingly, all of the new factory announcements in Q1 were tied to grid equipment, transmission technology, or energy storage manufacturing. But all the canceled manufacturing projects were tied to EVs, solar, wind, and hydrogen. Well, the hydrogen makes sense. The wind, the executive is Don Quixote. He's afraid of windmills, or is just mad that that they dared be able to be visible from his golf course in Scotland. EVs, again, with those incentives canceled, it makes sense that there would be still a little bit of a slump in people who either could or would access them for the incentives because there are no incentives. However, again, like we're seeing with the truck, you got like Tesla Semi coming out, look at that, 7 cents a kilowatt hour versus dozens of pennies per mile on a gas truck, almost like what, half a dollar. So those ones are going to eat the lunch of the ones that are going to cost more. So EV manufacturing has been hit the hardest. We've seen that with all these companies shoving all their losses into the EV division and shuttering them. Sector has seen the highest pullback since 22. E2 has tracked 58 canceled, closed, or downsized EV manufacturing projects, totaling around $25.5 billion in lost investment. That's nearly 1/4 of all announced EV manufacturing investment. The battery renewables and manufacturing are seeing very different outcomes. Yeah, because you can use them in more places that people don't have time to politicize. Scotland? Did somebody say Scotland? I did. The executive is. I don't think the executive is actually afraid of windmills. He's just pissed off that you can see them from the end of his golf course if you go to the very end and you look out that way and you squint just right. And so, because he lost the fight and couldn't get them canceled, every windmill must die. Very Don Quixote-ish. Doesn't have to be logical. According to the wind solar manufacturing projects account for around 116 active projects and roughly 20.4 billion in active investment, while only 2 billion in projects have been canceled. Less than 10% of the announced initial investment. Makes sense. And as we just saw at the start of the show, Ford is getting into it as well. So there's still money to be had. This report paints two very different scenarios of U.S. clean energy economy that are happening simultaneously. On one hand, developers are still racing to build solar, wind, and storage projects because the demand for electricity is exploding and clean energy remains the fastest and cheapest power source to deploy. Also, the one that has the least negative effects if there is an issue: a methane plant explosion, nuclear disaster, or a sunny day. Although windy days, it can be pretty bad. But the kind of windy day that would be pretty bad, the generators should have already stopped because it's too windy. I'm not aware of the situation, but the guy sounds like a right wanker. If you're a British Irish Scotsman from Wales, you'll understand what I just said. There's a lady with a golf course. Not the golf course. There's a lady who had a sign for him. She was I think she's left us, but she was very passionate. Very passionate. Yes, but the idea that the windmills are killing birds is not from that particular individual is not genuine. It's just another excuse. Besides, there's stuff we can do to make them unappealing to birds or visible, so that there's a non-issue. But even if you did nothing, windmills kill less birds than house cats. So I'm not saying don't do anything, because yes, if you can do something and it's almost free and you can save millions of lives, thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives, do it. Mr. Green, did you notice that the Prime Minister of Canada just announced they're going to start making small modular nuclear reactors, something I've been studying for a year and a half. I wasn't aware that they said they were going to do that, but good on them. Very good on them. It's not any brighter out, but I'm seeing now 177 watts of solar production in a rainy day. The irony is that while the administration is making it harder to build clean energy projects, defying all logic and doing the country a great disservice, the U.S. desperately needs more electricity generation as data centers, electrification drive demand higher. And party in power, congressional districts continue to see the largest share of both clean energy investment and project losses. I mean, you do need land for these things, and party in power is the party of land. Let's see. Despite these political attacks, the numbers in this report show companies are still trying to move as fast as possible before incentives disappear. Because companies aren't freaking stupid. They exist for one reason, to make a profit. And if you can get free electricity, that helps your profits. Because now you can spend that money on something else. The money that you would have spent every month on fuel. I'm just going to say how cats versus Windows is no competition. Exactly. Hey, Lee, I had to take your medicine. It's raining here as well. Are you able to make it back? I know how bad your headache can get. I was going to mention the same. So I consider it an honor that you can sit through me while enduring the crushing head pains. So I thank you and appreciate it. You can check out E2's Clean Economy Works at this tracker here. So let's go there and see what it is so that we can take a look at it later. And I'll also take a time to bookmark them, because we might want to come back later. Reject all cookies. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like the way this looks. So that is at e2.org/project tracker, project-tracker. So I'm going to add this to my bookmarks now. And yeah, I'll put it unsorted and save. Unsorted just because I haven't yet bothered to organize any of the bookmarks except for the what I call the notebook now. And the last one that we've saved up for today is copy link to the clipboard. It's our recall segment, and this one's a Tesla. And it's a bring it in recall. It's not a over-the-air software update recall, unfortunately. So this one is not actually a recall, it's a bulletin. But I think that's hair splitting. So Mark has posted this one. Tesla issues service bulletins for Model Y Juniper suspension creaks. And he got it from Not Tesla app. So let's go there and see what they have to say. Oh, it's changed on this. Belgium is mandating that starting this year, all new company cars must be electric. Good on you, Belgium. If you want to change it, be the change that you want. All right, we'll share this tab instead. And let's find out more about these details on the Juniper Model Y suspension creaks. 2 service bulletins in response to customer complaints about suspension creaking on the refreshed Model Y. The issue is on the 2026 Plus Model Y that has been persistent. Frustrating issue for owners, with creaking, rattling, or knocking noises occurring during low-speed driving over uneven surfaces. To date, navigating this issue via official channels has proved challenging. They do that sometimes. Tesla service centers frequently classify the noise as non-safety related within spec, declining to authorize the repairs. Within spec. Within spec. You know, it triggers a reaction to Tesla owners. Can we chat about the unicorn for 1 minute? Yeah. Anything I say is easy to verify. Yeah, we can talk about the unicorn as soon as I finish talking about this bulletin. So saw that bulletin. Not sure I've experienced the creaking suspension noise. Hopefully it's not one that like develops. Like either it is or it isn't is what I'm hoping it is. Or that yours has got the fix already. Tesla service centers frequently classify the noise as non-safety. However, that has now changed with the Tesla issuance of 2 TSBs, technical service bulletins. Service Bulletin 26-31-003 and SB 25-31-005 on May 8th of 2026. The mechanical symptoms are that persistent front-end noise reported across premium rear-wheel drive, premium all-wheel drive, and performance variants of the refreshed Model Y was initially difficult for local service teams to diagnose due to its overlapping acoustic characteristics. Because suspension noise can originate from numerous articulating components under load, early diagnostic attempts often resulted in temporary lubrication fixes rather than addressing the root cause. And we talked about this on the Tesla Live show, not this bulletin, but there's a patent now to affix the interior components with a new clip design, which should minimize the chances of this happening. The rattling or knocking condition when driving over bumps or rough roads is directly tied to the front upper control arm mounts and the internal valving or structural seating of the front damper assemblies. The multi-tier remedy, according to 25-31-005, technicians must inspect the affected vehicles and replace the front upper control arm mounts with updated components. So even the Juniper still gives front upper control arm adjustments. You'd think they would have fixed it by now. It's probably a different reason, though, in this case. For the premium and performance configurations, this protocol is expanded to include replacing both the left and right-hand front damper assemblies with updated parts specifically optimized for the refreshed platform's weight distribution and damping coefficients. So I guess, yeah, if you aren't already having it, then it probably won't start either. If Tesla gave me a free repair, I'd likely take them up on it, drive over an in-construction temporary entrance for our subdivision. I'm at 11,800 miles so far, Juniper Y. Yeah, I like getting free repairs. Okay, let's see. Intriguingly, both bulletins mandate a structural change, the complete removal of the wiper bracket pencil braces. We were just talking online about how wiper replacement shouldn't be considered something that you need done by the manufacturer. And yet, this isn't that. It's not just changing the rubber. This is something else. The braces were introducing unexpected harmonics or transferring suspension energy into the vehicle's firewall, amplifying what would have otherwise been a minor mechanical click into noticeable cabin noise. For vehicles in which the control arm mounts and pencil braces have already been addressed, SB 2631003 recommends updating the front dampers. If the entire procedure is performed, it should take approximately 4 hours. According to the service bulletins and service manual, which includes pre- and post-repair test drives to confirm the issue. Value of these bulletins is the immediate change. It's in the immediate change when customers bring in affected vehicles. The service center is immediately aware of the issue and they can verify the cause and can fix it, saving everybody time. Both documents are officially categorized as campaign bulletins, meaning that they're only going to fix it if you tell them that I've got a squeak. And then, if you tell them I've got a squeak and it matches the conditions in the bulletin, they'll just take care of it. The associated diagnostic and replacement procedures are fully covered under Tesla's new vehicle limited warranty. So if this is you get it in before your warranty expires. If it expands further than this, they can, a recall will not require a miles cap. But if they leave it as a complaint bulletin, then to get it done for free, you will need to have it done under warranty. Otherwise, they might give you a discount if you're out of warranty. Or they'll just say, too bad, so sad. Why'd you wait 150,000 miles to tell us about this thing in 4 years? Owners who previously faced pushback on the issue can now schedule service appointments to get the issue fixed. Bulletins lay out exactly what is needed, what needs to be changed, and for which vehicles, which means that service centers can proactively order the parts once an issue is remotely diagnosed, resulting in faster swaps. Unless your crew is the same one that worked at Patrick's Nissan Leaf dealer, who know you're coming for a month and don't bother to download the software update ahead of time. There we go. All right, so we got some comments here, and then Highlander wants to tell us about something. It's quite bumpy, and I drive over it slowly every day. I can't believe they stay having trouble with front end suspension. Yes, I was in a chat room with Omar Holmars and advised the guy not to buy certain Model 3, and why is because of their front suspension problems. I think it comes from the gigacasting. I wouldn't say it's the gigacasting because my Model X has been through upper control arms, and my Model S had the half shafts replaced. Well, I guess my Model X has also had the half shafts replaced, but that was part of the recall. But then it had upper control arms after that, and then the Model S had the half shafts and upper control arms, and it was 2016 pre-refresh. It had the guppy mouth. So, all right, what did you have for us there, Highlander? Are you gonna speak it, or you want me to go to a link for the unicorns? Also, the Michigan meetup is soon. So if you search for Tesla Meetup Michigan, get you some details there. Standing by for a unicorn. I will eat some more oatmeal. It's still warm. Well, while we wait for the unicorn, I want to thank everybody for coming through today and spending time with us and chatting with us. It's always more fun when we can interact and not just speaking into the camera. Highlander says, I never had suspension problem with my Dodge minivan. Sadly, we had to lay her to rest a couple days ago. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that your van is gone. Let's see. What cars did I not have suspension problems with? The Hondas. The Toyota. The Mazda. The Lincoln had some suspension problems right when I got it. I mean, it was old when I got it, but I guess technically the Chevys, but I mean, I was happy with their suspension. Yeah. Yo, Scott, what's your unicorn? He's not muted on X. I don't know if he's talking and I can't hear him. He said before the show's over, not after the show's over, right? Let me go back and look up. Can I search comments while I'm live? Or do I have to go back and do it later? Where's the mouse at now? There's the mouse. Because of the front and rear suspension problem with my Dodge minivan. We had at least one full-size electric bus. Oh, there we go. Had at least one full-size electric bus driving around on Toledo's bus network, and we have a very large, good network, and more news to follow. That's cool. Let's do a Toledo electric bus. Just posted it. We have an electric button in Toledo. Electric button. His voice text loves to play around with us. So let's go to X. Oh, I see there in the in this chat. Okay, and then we're gonna go to. Interesting. Robert works on FSD supervised after buying Model Y. My Tesla Y does what it felt like sci-fi 10 years ago. I heard about this one, and I'm not sure what they were thinking when they made this proposal. The acceleration sound of Model 3 performance after removing the rear seat cushion. Sounds epic. It's like a spaceship. Volume up. But it was not a work not having freedom on the PC. How did you do it? Yes, it required root access. So how did you get that? Sudo and run not work non-interactively with the users in the Docker group on this machine, and that means that Docker can start. Oh wow, can start a container at its root, and by-mounted host paths were writable. I use that to copy the existing backup over the live config. That's creepy. You got hacked by your own computer. Docker run rm pulled never etc host etc 1222.64. Trying an old version too, especially with all the latest Linux 0 days. I wouldn't want an old version of Linux at that point unless it was patched. I think it's worth discussing how Blue Origin instead could have affected Delta's decision to choose Amazon Leo over Starlink. But what we were actually looking for is my purple. And then we were going to go from there and look at Scott's post. So let's, how do I get there? No. $2,600 invested in Tesla's IPOs worth more than $1 million today. Huh. And then I click on the purple, and then I click reconnect, and we're going to have an echo. And then we're going to go from there and look at Scott's post. So let's, how do I get there? Okay, that's not the post. No. 2,600. No, I don't want to Tesla's IPOs worth more than $1 million. There we go. So the echo's gone. And kindness is always free. Ex-co-host, YouTube moderator. There you go. That's not the bus. All right, let's go to yeah, that's what I meant. There we go. Tarta introduces 11 electric buses as part of Zero Emission Initiative. Not bad. Introduce new full-size electric buses as part of the Tarta Zero Initiative with a goal to have all electric vehicles by 2040. So in line with the rest of the world. The Transit Authority rolled out 11 electric buses from the Transit Hub on Toledo streets. They previously introduced 6 electric para-transit vehicles in 2024. We're hoping to have as many zero emissions vehicles as we can, said Andy Cole, communications and marketing manager for Tarta. I think it's an extension of our care for the community's health. Yeah. These are wonderful vehicles. They're quiet and sustainable, and they're also reliable. Yes, yes. Full-size electric vehicles look similar to the diesel-powered buses, but with domed tops. Yeah, same as we saw with the propane and hybrid buses. They usually had a different looking top on the transit buses anyway. Cole said the average lifespan for diesel buses is between 12 and 13 years, but the electric vehicles run between 13 and 15 years. Not bad. The fleet was fully funded by grants with no tax dollars needed. No local tax dollars needed. The hefty price tag runs $13.2 million for the Greener Future Initiative from federal, state, and TMACOG funded one of the buses. Cole acknowledged that the ambitious timeline for the zero emissions goal. It's a big mountain to climb, but again, we're really excited to get started with this process. Good on you. Wow. You guys got a lot of local news going on. So with that, yeah, that's a good way to end on it right there. The electric buses in Toledo. Thank you there for that, Highlander. Let me check the comments real quick before we roll. I know that background music really well. They tried to block Lee's comment. Why would they do that? What about the headache? Tarta, our local bus network. If I had a setting to pipe that sound into the cabin, I use it sometimes. I'd use it. I did use the TL Gen app to make the light show on TTL marching band music. Oh, excellent. I'd like to see that. And I'm just grateful and humbled I could add some content. Thank you. And yeah, the position to go look at their maintenance yard where they charge. Oh, that's really cool because they must have quite a connection to get these things charged up overnight. Also, that Toledo's moving to electric buses. Yes. Dayton, Ohio used to have real electric buses, the power lines overhead the city. Oh, I do like the electric trams. Those are cool. So I want to thank everybody for coming through today. I want to thank our channel members like Anders and Timothy there for their monetary contributions to help pay some of the connection fees to this thing. And I want to thank all of you guys for chatting and coming through today and watching with us. And anyone on the replay also drop a comment down. I'd love to see them. And I will catch you guys next week on the Tesla Live Show live on Wednesday at 7 p.m. We've got an Express coming up on Monday at 7 p.m. And with that, I'll catch you on the flip side. And I'll see you here next week, hopefully.